The next thing, Sam, I want to talk to you about is essay writing. I suppose that's often new for people from, particularly from biomedical backgrounds. It poses a bit of a challenge. And I suppose I'm interested in how you take forward an essay title. Once you're given an essay title and you know the deadline, I suppose the question is, what do you do with it?
Well, first, keep calm.
Keep calm and carry on.
But, well, the first thing I would do is just to reread the question and reread the instruction, what is expected from us, from our essay. Because sometimes when we are given a topic, then we then think, or we get an interesting idea, but then after we write the idea into an essay, then it will just actually go out of the rail, out of the, so it doesn't really answer the question. So it's very important for us to reread the question and make sure what's expected from the instructions. And then after that, it's good for us to do like a background reading before we finalize our title or our topic, because sometimes after we pick a topic, then we do a literature review. Then sometimes we find that it's kind of obsolete to discuss the topic once again, because it's been discussed somewhere else by someone. So it's good to have a background reading before we pick our own topic.
Would you spend a lot of time doing that background reading?
Yeah, it might take like 1 or 2 weeks, but after that usually I get my topic and I'm sure with it, and then it's faster onwards, rather than like pick a topic first and then do the reading and change the topic and do another reading. So
it's a good investment of your time, is that right?
For me, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And then after that, pick a topic and then create, what do you call that? Like the structure. So make sure that you have like a nice structure for your essay with the introduction and the main discussion and then the conclusion. And don't forget that in the introduction you should be able to tell what you are going to write, and then in the main discussion you write it, and then in the conclusion you tell them what you have written, because sometimes a clear structure can help the examiner to understand what you're trying to express and what you're trying to convey, and that will probably give you a better mark. So. Yeah.
One of the key things that we often emphasise in essay writing is, of course, developing academic arguments. Making the case that something is the case and something exists. A way to proceed is the way to proceed. And that involves citing other people's work and sort of assessing the strength of that evidence that lies behind your argument. How did you find all that?
Well, I can still remember the first time I read an essay here. It's for the initial program essay. It's not marked. It's marked, but it's not taken into the final score. So yeah, it's like a formative thing. At that time, I thought writing an essay was just like writing a nice newspaper article. Like you will write down your arguments, your ideas and concepts, but at that time I didn't put much scientific evidence in that writing, so it was marked not really good. So after that I changed my style, and I write the essay based on evidence and do critical appraisal, literature review, and when I cite the evidence, I would not just like cite people's works, but also show the arguments between different authors and different studies, and point out why the difference exists. and probably that's what I think a better way of showing the argument in our essay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there'd be quite a difference between your initial program essay, diagnostic essay, and your dissertation at the end.
Yeah.
So what about when you're citing evidence? You know, understanding the strength of that evidence. You know, obviously there's a difference between a tiny, small-scale study that wasn't that important and a very big, huge trial or a meta-analysis that was very important.
Yeah.
Were you aware of that, or did you become aware of that?
Yes. Yes. In the research method course, we were taught about the hierarchy of evidence and also about the validity of research. And then in the introduction to epidemiology, we learned about different study designs and the biases and the alternative explanations. And from those courses, I know how to appraise a study, and I know how to how do you call it, like how to see to see the quality of a study, whether it's reliable or not. For example, like smaller studies with smaller sample size without randomization will not be as reliable as bigger studies with randomizations. Yeah.
Yes. So you're able to pull different parts of the program together.
Yeah.
To form a whole.
Yeah. Because I think one of the most important skills I learned in this program is to, how do you call that, like to integrate the information I got from this course and then from that course to create one, how do you call it? I don't know the words, but it's just how you take the best of each course and then to apply that in writing every essays and projects.
So you've kind of integrated, as you say, those different skills into your style. Does that become your style, would you say? Yeah. And do you think that style will be useful in the future for you, this developed style that you have now?
Yes, because especially because public health graduates from this program, most of us will work in the NHS or will work in an academic setting. We will write reports, review evidence, and create researches. So I think those kind of those writing styles and skills are very important.
I mean, another aspect of assessment, of course, is examinations, and we have them across core courses. What was your general experience of those on the MPH?
Well, written exams are scary. Well, because the written exams are challenging because we have like a limited time frame, and within like 120 minutes, for example, we need to answer all the questions, and mostly it was short answer question. It's basically like writing paragraphs and just like writing an essay. So it's challenging because I'm not really used to write in English. So that can be a problem. But if we prepare before the exam, because usually we know the ILOs, the intended learning objectives. So we know what's going to be asked in the exam, basically. So we can prepare from that, and probably we write and we use stopwatch to time ourselves just to practice, and I think that the exam would be a big problem if we do that.
So that's a bit of a tip for future students. And those types of exams that you undertook on the MPH program, were those different from the types that you'd experienced as an undergraduate?
Yes, because in my previous study it was mostly multiple choice questions, but here I think it's only the introduction to epidemiology that used that kind of assessment. But for the other courses, we do essays and short answers and and what else? Yeah, I think that's all. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay. Thanks very much.